Hey everybody, we are in day 284 in our Bible reading plan, Jeremiah 10 through 12 and Psalm 71. Talking about fairness today and sort of how hard life can be. We're going to look at Jeremiah's perspective. But the big idea is that when life is unfair and the ungodly seem to be winning, remember that today's challenges are mere preparation for tomorrow's trials and that God is still in control. All right. You might know that, but when you're living it, it's hard. And so starting in chapter 10, there's, it kind of reminded me of Isaiah, this comparison of idols that are made out of trees that serve nothing. And this is God starts by telling them, you decorate these branches from the trees, and your idols are like scarecrows in a cucumber field. They cannot speak, have to be carried, they cannot walk. And then the response sort of is Jeremiah. He says, there is none like you, O Lord. You are great, and your name is great in might. Who would not fear you, O King of the nations, for this is your due. And then he again reminds the comparison between the idols that are nothing to the Lord is the true God. He is the living God and the everlasting King. It is he, verse 12, who made the earth by his power, who established the world by his wisdom. And so there's sort of this back and forth. He's the one who formed all things in verse 16. Then we move into chapter 11, where God reminds Jeremiah to tell the people, like, they were the ones who broke the covenant. He had told them in the Old Testament, we read it together. If you obey, you'll be blessed. If you don't, this is the Old Testament. Before the coming of Christ, there was this blessing for obedience and curse for disobedience. And the people, remember back in the days of Joshua, said, we get it, we're going to obey the Lord. And so for centuries, God had given them a chance. And now he said, you're going to be attacked, of course, by the Babylonians. In judgment. Jeremiah is heartbroken about it. And so you get to chapter 12 and he starts to complain to God, like, why is this like this? Righteous are you, O Lord, when I complain to you. And by the way, it's okay to complain to God and do it in, understand that he's God. And the idea of lament is a biblical idea, but you can still tell God what you feel. And so he says to him, why does the way of the wicked prosper? Why do all the treacherous thrive? You plant them, they take root, they grow, they produce fruit. He says, you, O Lord, know me, you see me, and test my heart towards you. And he's just having a self-pity moment. He's like, I don't understand. Why is all this happening to me? And the ones that do badly seem to succeed, and the ones that are living godly seem to flounder. You ever feel this way? I've been accused of feeling this way. And so here's God's response, and it is ended up being a title of a book by Eugene Peterson. That's a wonderful book. He says, if you have raced with men on foot and they have wearied you, how will you compete with horses? And if in a safe land you are so trusting, how will you do in the thicket of the Jordan? And the book is called Running with Horses. It's worth you read, especially if you're in ministry. But the concept is, if you can't put up with this trial, how will you get to harder trials? You want to run with horses in life. And so many of us start to complain when God presses us a little. And this pressing is only going to prepare you for further pressing down the road. And so don't be alarmed, but rejoice in trials. And the same encouragement that God gives Jeremiah is an encouragement to us today to keep on keeping on and know that God's going to give us everything we need to make it. And so praying for you today, no matter what you're facing. Let us run with horses the race that God has for us. Love you guys.